So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you footage from my recent trip to Atlanta where I took in some fabric shopping, as well as at the end, I will show you all of the things that I purchased there. I really had a good time and I hope you enjoy watching the video.
Hey, my love.
Hi.
Happy to be in Atlanta with you.
Thank you.
Especially without the kids.
Yes.
Our weekend alone.
Now let's have breakfast. What do they have? The Whitley was really a beautiful hotel and their restaurant trade route was delicious. I even had a mimosa. We arrived so early and so we had breakfast. I really do not enjoy those super early flights, but I was happy to get an early start on the day because we went straight to Gail Fabrics after we got everything put away. And it was really a lovely fabric store. I will leave more information in the description box of address and all those sorts of things. I have no idea really what part of town I was in. Atlanta is a very big city, and this was a very big fabric store. It was a wonderful experience just to be able to take my time and go through everything and look at everything and touch everything and ask questions. I was really overwhelmed. I wish I had made more of a plan going in, like, oh, I need some of this or I need some of that. Sort of just knowing what I was looking for since it was a special trip for shopping. I wish I had done that, but my strategy was just to look and see what I was inspired by. Just so happens that I was inspired by everything. So it took a lot of thought and consideration to narrow down some things and make some choices because, of course, even if you want to, you can't buy it all. So that is my regret for this shopping trip. I wish I had have looked at sewing patterns that I have at home that I really want to make up and seen what type of fabric they required and how many yardage or notions or whatever and shopped for specific patterns. That would have made this so much more productive. So I ended up with lots of fabric, but fabric that I'm not sure what to do with or have no specific purpose for, but that's not a bad thing either. And so I'm still happy with everything that I chose, and the fact that I got to buy silk and really spend the weekend with my husband was the best part.
Try it out, baby.
I know, I might have to because I just really
I like it too.
All the places. I hope it means that you'll come home to me once you travel the world, all the spaces inside your heart. I hope I'll be your end destination. I hope I'll be your.
Oh, there she goes. We get lost in this place.
I've never seen anything quite like this. This place was so big and it had such beautiful things that I would love to work with one day. I'd never seen in person fabric that cost $150 or $200 a yard. It's just crazy. I would be more terrified of anything than just messing it up or wasting. So I think I'm years off for being able to purchase something so beautiful, but beautiful it was. It was a lot. I didn't even know there were so many different options, and it was just a lot, but it was wonderful.
You happy, baby?
Yeah. Gail Fabrics was wonderful. I can't wait to show you all what I bought. And that was the end of day one, and we headed to Davio's for some lunch. Hey, honey. The next day's trip was to find fabrics, and it is crazy. If you thought Gail K was crazy, this is insane. This is a warehouse. They have it pretty well organized. The problem is it's so many bolts deep that you can't really see what's there. And so once again, I really wish that I had a plan. You would have thought I would have learned my lesson the day before, but I did not. And so I just wandered through the store, trying to keep an eye out for anything that sparked me or inspired me. And so there's just a whole lot of fabric here, a whole lot. I didn't buy as much as I did at Gail K. I think by this time I was almost through the budget, and this was overwhelming. If I was overwhelmed before, then this is just next level. There was so much fabric. Looking through this footage, I see things that I wish I had bought that I wasn't really noticing. And this wasn't always me with the camera. There's my husband. He had it at times. He really enjoyed himself learning about fabric, and they even let him cut fabric, which it was just a really good time. I'm happy he enjoyed himself. I was a little bit leery about how he would behave in the fabric stores. Like, you know how when you don't want to take your kids certain places. I was just mainly worried that he would get bored, but he didn't, and he behaved himself. And his reward was we did go real shopping as well. We went to the stores on both days when we would leave the fabric stores, and that was really enjoyable. There was definitely some pool time that happened and good meals. I love Atlanta. And then on our final night, we had a dessert picnic in bed after dinner, and that was wonderful. And then Sunday, we were on a flight back home and back to our kids and back to my sewing room.
Will you call me back? Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know that.
Hi, I'm Drew. Welcome back to my sewing room. I'm really excited for today's video. I finally got to go real fabric shopping. My husband and I went to Atlanta, and we got to see Gail K fabrics and fine fabrics, and I got to pick up a few things. I live in Kentucky, where our only options for fabric are Joann and Hobby Lobby. And not to put those down, I've made beautiful things from fabric from both stores, but I just really wanted to be able to go really fabric shopping or fabric browsing. I didn't buy a whole lot, but the experience of touching everything and looking at everything and learning about the different fabrics was just invaluable. I have been fabric shopping once before. I went to Tuberville, South Carolina with Stephanie Canada and Haley from Haley Marie Vintage, and we got to go to an old dressmaking factory as well as dress shop that had been shut down for decades and just dig through all of the vintage fabric and sewing notions. I'll leave a link to that video if you haven't seen it. It was really fun. But I wanted to go fabric shopping now that I am getting so much better at recognizing on-site fabrics that attract me and inspire me, and starting to really be able to figure out my own personal style as I merge vintage with modern and all of that, which brings us to where we are. So my husband and I went to Atlanta to go fabric shopping, and that's what I'm sharing with you today. A little bit of the footage from the different shops we got to go to, which were Fine Fabrics and Gail K Fabrics. We went to Gail K Fabrics on the first day and then Fine Fabrics the next. I really wanted to go to Melanated Fabrics, but I didn't get to check it out on this trip. We were staying in downtown Atlanta, and the Ubering had just got so expensive, and I had already run up my sewing budget, and then it didn't happen. I have purchased fabric from them online before, and the next time I'm in Atlanta, which is hopefully soon, as a very good friend of mine is about to have a baby close to Georgia. And so hopefully I'll get down there and get to check that out in person and take some of their workshops. I know it's just a great space. I knew I would want to be in there for hours, and I knew my husband probably wouldn't be happy with that, as this was like a little weekend getaway away from responsibilities and kids and that whole thing. But he did enjoy the fabric shop, and I even have footage of him cutting fabric, and so it was a wonderful time. And so I'm going to show you what I bought. We're going to start with Gail K. And so while I was there, I actually picked up some silk fabric, but at this point, I'm not sure which all ones are silk, and then I know that I did get some polyester. I do know that this is silk, and I absolutely love it. I am very attracted to florals. I understand that with vintage clothing, there is a lot of florals, but they're always in a much smaller print. I personally am attracted to a very large floral print. And so I know now that I can buy what I like and sell what I like and wear what I like, even while trying to have more of a vintage aesthetic. It can still be my aesthetic. So florals I am really into. I think I just really like them large. And so I got 5 or 6 yards of this. That was the thing, and that was why I didn't get a lot of different fabrics, was because I wasn't sure exactly what I'm making out of any of this, and so I wanted to make sure I had enough. And then also perhaps maybe little small capsule collections of tops or blouses or whatever out of the same fabric, because I also got something very similar but in blue. And so you can see the compare and contrast here. So as you can tell, I'm really into florals. There's more. This one I really love. I think this might be one of the, really not a silk, this is a polyester, so I'm starting to be able to feel the difference. But I love it, and it's a border print, and I am just in love with it. I'm not sure what I'm gonna make, but I probably a skirt or a dress, because I just love border prints, even though I've never worked with them before. So there's that. And then I got silk polka dot, because of course vintage wardrobes require polka dot, and I just love this. I think the possibilities are endless when dealing with polka dots, and I have some in my stash, but it's linen, not silk, and so I think that will be a fun make. I bought some voile, I believe this to be. It's also floral. You kind of see the theme going here. This one I didn't get as much of, as it was a little bit more expensive, I believe. That had to be why I didn't do a lot of it. It doesn't feel like as much, but I mean, it could be. I think I did 5 to 6 yards of everything. Except for this one, I got a lot more. They gave me a really good deal on this white cotton. It was the end of the yard, and I mean the end of the bolt, and so they gave me a really good deal. But if you can see this, it has all of these sequins all over it, and it's just a really beautiful fabric. So happy to add that to my stash. I believe that is it from Gail K. I'm not sure what I'm gonna make. I really have no ideas. I know I normally pair my hauls with the patterns that I have in mind, but I actually have nothing in mind for these fabrics. With the silks, last night I actually ordered a bunch of 1930s reproduction patterns from Lady Marlowe. I was doing some research in these vintage books that I have, and the silhouettes to me just seem more conducive from the 30s for the silkier fabric. So look for some 1930s makes coming very soon. I wasn't previously into 1930s fashion, but after I went down that rabbit hole last night, I'm just obsessed. So next I have fine fabrics. I didn't really get a lot there. It was super crowded for some reason, short staffed like every place, and it was just a lot. So kind of tried to get in and out. I got 3 yards of this, and I think I want to use it to make a skirt, and then use this to make a blouse. I got this from there as well. I think this might be lining fabric though. I'm not sure. It wasn't in the lining part. It's really sheer, but I just thought it would make a sexy blouse to go with that skirt. Let me know in the comments if this is a lining fabric and if it is okay for me to use it to make a blouse or not. I really don't know, and I don't want to look like a crazy person. And then I also got another giant floral print, and this one is pretty heavy, so I'm probably definitely going to do something 1950s or 60s, really full skirts that I'm into with that one. So that is it. Like I said, it wasn't a huge haul. It was just really more about the experience for me and getting away and spending time with my husband, who was so very gracious. to make this happen for me. So I'm very excited to work with all these fabrics. Please let me know your favorites. Let me know any information that you have about the fabrics or what they should be used for, or just anything you can add to sort of help me along on my sewing journey will be greatly appreciated. And I appreciate you for being here. To my husband, if you watch this, which I know you won't, thank you so much for the trip and for all of the fabric and for even cutting fabric yourself. You are a gem, as well as all of you. I'm very appreciative of you being here, and I will see you in my next video that is soon and sure to come.